Alright guys, here is the first fan video of 2025. So here is this Holmes 16-inch pedestal fan from 2023, and this is pretty much a redesigned version of the older fans from the 2010s. So these are pretty much sold at Target for $30, I guess. Um, Overall, it's somewhat impressive because there was some issues with the older versions to this one. Now, these newer ones kind of resemble the comfort zones in a certain way. For example, the badge for starters. Then there's the control box, and the control box has this kind of cartoonish design to it because of how wide it is, and that's pretty much where it ends. Um, well, actually, no. They added they added this handle here now. So I don't know how exactly these will be handy when a lot of people tend to hold the stand fans from the control box. Um, has a much smaller motor cover to what they were offering before, and blade pitch is quite reasonable. The older versions were a bit slightly steeper, but those blades tend to warp, so it was a problem with those fans. But yeah, um, now the original base. What they did correct this time is that they pretty much welded hex nuts to the bottom of the sheet metal, but the downfall of that is that the sheet metal was pretty much a millimeter thin. So it was pretty much the thickness of a aluminum can, and those things bent so badly. I was able to bend it open. So yeah, I got rid of it. I might have to find another base for this fan. Um, but yeah, and also this pipe here is the original stand that for this fan. It's very short. If I place it side to side with the base I'm using for it, and yeah, this is it at full height. So you can have an idea on how short this fan would be if it still had its original base. So yeah, it's not really much. It's not really that good. Now, what impressed me most about this fan is the fact that Holmes decided to use a crescent shaft instead of a pinch shaft. Oh yeah, and this blade cap, the design of it has no grip to it, so therefore hands could slide up very easily. So yeah, there's your shaft. And this is what it looks like without the blade. And this is pretty much what Holmes used back in the 80s to the early 90s, if you remember back in the old days. It's quite insane that they decided to bring this back. Now, in case that this crescent shaft hole tends to shred, they decided to keep this groove here for the pinch shaft, but I don't know how that will be helpful when this thing is pretty much has nothing to hold on. Unless this is meant for a replacement as well for another fan that has a pinch shaft. But yeah, it's quite interesting actually. As you can see, once again, there's the blade pitch. It almost looks flat, but you know what else can we do? It's Chinese fan. You don't expect anything big from it like back in the early 90s. Yeah, right. Clip this fan on real quick. But yeah, overall, at least the clips, they hold the front grill properly. Because there are manufacturers that pretty much use clips, but it doesn't hold the front grill properly, and then if something were to hit it, this thing will fall off. But yeah, let's run this now. So let's start on low. Now it is a quite quiet fan, and the airflow could be felt from a good distance, I must say. even though the blade pitch is nothing major. But yeah, it is moving some air. It's just that, these monitor fans, the airflow is very gentle. Yeah, that's quite decent. In overall opinions, the Polonis fan with the remote controls, the new one, is probably the best monitor fan so far, standing next to the Elegance and Performance series. Medium. Yeah, speed change is very minimal. And the amount of airflow coming out the blades does not seem to be much of a major difference right there. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Yeah, that Laska you see back there, the 3151, that one has the original that one has a round blade, but it's a cut down version. That one blows a whole lot of air than compared to this thing. All right. Man, that's quite something. I will say the least. Once again, it's certainly not like the Lasco 3151 back there, but you know, nor is it a Polanis. But it's something at least quite decent. And once again, the older blades from the 2010s, they were suffering from aerodynamics, and it's mainly because the type of plastic they were using, it tends to warp. I'm guessing it's the same plastic technically, but I think the material is more dense or something compared to that other blade set. So yeah, that's one major change right there. Here's the oscillations. So far it oscillates fine. There might be this little rattling noise because I was banging this shaft back and forth when I was sending the shaft down. But yeah, these are pretty much on sale for $30 at Target, and I was not expecting to get one of these that soon. But yeah, I must say these are a quite slight improvement over the older versions in terms of build quality because this control box is now standing more firmly compared to the other one, and it's probably because this stand here is using thicker pipes compared to the other one. The other one used skinnier pipes, and pretty much the mounting of the base, the stub ended right here, so this thing would wobble on about, and it would not be secure properly. So there was a lot of problems with that design. This one at least uses spring locking mechanisms for the tilting instead of whatever they were using back then. And I must admit, this control box feels more solid compared to their last design. But yeah, it's quite a shame that most this is pretty much what they offer now. But yeah, actually better than, whatever other design some other manufacturer would have came up with that would, suffer aerodynamic issues and stuff. At least I'm glad these girls are not insanely thin. They're quite sturdy, to be honest. Alright, back to high speed. And off. Now that service is going to have a longer spin down time. So there you have it. That is the 2023 Holmes 16-inch pedestal fan.